Trey, I can't stop watching this post-game press conference, the buddy cop show of Anthony Edwards and Karl Anthony Towns.
I would actually tune into that. I don't know how. I don't know like the production wise, but Ant looks like he's game about everything. He doesn't let it like mess up. You know, like some players are like, nah. You know what I mean? Like, oh, we can't do that. It's not part of my schedule. I need to
bring your ass, Charles.
Bring your ass. Like he with everything, and I think that's the cool part about it, and such a fun part. And I think it's contagious. His teammates are even a little bit more lighthearted, even the much serious Rudy Gobert. You know, so yeah, no, I'm all about that. The post game, I sent it to the guys last night. I'm like, damn, he's cussing up a storm. You know what I mean? Like, and that's not like to police it, but it was just like, I don't know if this is a breath of fresh air or that the NBA being a little bit more lenient into their new face of the league. I don't know, but it was just like, hell yeah, keep cussing, man. Be you.
He's raw and unfiltered and magnetic in a way that I think every fan craves, is a guy who speaks his mind, who doesn't just talk for the sake of talking. This dude walks. Like everything he says, he has such credibility. Even though he's 22 years old, he's never been to the conference finals yet, but he talks a big game and he backs it up. You know, game 7 wasn't his best, but throughout this series, he's had huge moments where you're like, that dude is the real deal. And I would venture to say that his press conferences and his energy on the floor and the flexing and the taunting, I think that is just as alluring and compelling for fans than his actual game. Like, he is built for this in a way that I don't think we've seen a young star. It took Steph Curry a while to like fill that like bravado that he played with. Whereas Edwards, man, he's built this way.
I mean, I think it may be a little harder for Steph just because how his dad carried himself in the league, and just like, you know, it comes off as a not edgy look. You know what I mean? Versus Edwards is just like, Brad don't really give a fuck about nothing. Like, he's young. He's from he's from Georgia, like, you know, a specific neighborhood. I was talking to Bomani about it in Barton Point, and it's like, he looks like one of those dudes that's from that area. And you would know, if you've been in that area, you will understand what type of guy Anthony Edwards is and who he was raised around. So why he acts that way. Like, I could tell a Compton guy. I'm like, oh, he's from Compton. That's like, you know, you see it come out of DeMar sometimes. You see it come out of, I don't know. I never really got a chance to see that out of Aaron and Follow. But like, you see certain guys that are from the city that have that like personality that is attached to the hometown. And like, Ant is just a country dude that is from Georgia. You know what I mean?
He kind of reminds me of Charles. I think the lack of filter and the willingness to speak his mind is
it's a good call.
Charles Barkley-esque. And that's what was so funny about that interaction, is you got the old kind of buttoned up Charles Barkley, not exactly as braggadocious as he used to be. And he's like, you know, I haven't been to Minnesota in a long time. I haven't been to
Minnesota in 19 years, 20 years or something like that. Yeah, bring your ass. And I'm like,
he didn't say nothing else but bring your ass. And everybody was like, hell yeah. The guys, I don't care what, you could be any race you want to be. Everybody's like, hell yeah, I love that. Bring your ass.
Oh man, if I was a Timberwolves fan, I mean, this team is so fun. It's so fun. I mean, what Jaden McDaniels tried to do at the end of that game was insane. Insane. He tried to bounce a self alley-oop at the end of the game, and he got swatted away. But I mean, I feel like he's feeding off of Ant there, like the energy that Ant brings.
Because Ant was waving right before that.
Bye. Bye. And he tried to throw it on him on a self alley-oop in the closing seconds of a game 7.
These young players don't give a fuck. Shouts to Jaden McDaniels. Federal Way. I got to go to Federal Way soon too. My nephew's graduating from high school. But rapping, you know, outskirts of Seattle. Yeah, man. I follow his trainer. and they just been talking shit. They've been talking shit the whole series. Like, yeah. Shouts to Clint, man. Clint's like, yeah, Jamal Murray can't duck the smoke using all those screens. And then he's like, yo, Luka's next. And they're just like checking it off. And I'm like, oh my God. But I think it's dope that Edwards is sharing his platform with his teammates. You know what I'm saying? He's
100%.
giving words of encouragement. He's saying, you know, who the game ball goes to. Jaden McDaniels, Cat, stop fucking fouling. Cat, you know, you're the best offensive threat on our team. You're the best player on our team. Like building that up and understanding how to micromanage as a young star. You know what I mean? Like not being unlikable, finding a way to make Rudy Gobert see his value outside of whatever the world's talking about. It's like, he called him fucking Rue. Like, I ain't never called nobody no damn Rue. Like, you know what I'm saying? Not Rudy.
So flour-based sauce.
You know? So like he's doing an amazing job as a leader. And getting everybody on board. You know what I'm saying? Like trying to make Karl Anthony Towns and Rudy Gobert likable is a task, and he is doing it. And his road to wherever they're going has been fun. Knocking off the Durant, Booker, Suns, knocking off the defending champs, and now you're getting ready to face Kyrie and Luka. And if you can send them home and get to the finals, they're gonna win or lose. They're gonna be telling their grandkids about the summer of 24. It was a time, baby. It was a time.
We are talking the Game 7s from Sunday, doing a little preview for the next round, the conference finals on the Coming Home podcast. This week, of course, we're going to go through the games, but also talk about what's next. And man, we haven't even gotten to the main event. What is the main course in French, Maze?
The Rudy Gobert special. That's what it is. That's what he served up. It's on the
Rudy
menu.
Gobert special. That shot, the grenade that they threw to Rudy Gobert, the inbounds pass, and on the left wing there, and he throws it up and it swishes, barely touches the net, was the most ridiculous shot. We just saw, what was it? We've seen half-court shots this postseason. Nothing compares to a fadeaway Rudy Gobert contested jumper that caused Nikola Jokic in the closing minutes of the game almost punch his head simultaneously after that play. Like, are you kidding me right now? And Rudy Gobert is now 4 wins away from the NBA Finals, 8 wins away from an NBA championship. And everyone wanted to bury this dude. Bury him. He got torched by Jokic a couple games ago. Rudy, do you have anything to say for all the doubters out there?
I told you I am the best. That is Rudy Gobert show. That jumper, they do not want me to shoot, but I shoot. I make. I give the dream shake. The back and forth. Nicolas, va-t'en. Allons enfants de la patrie.
Okay.
The Western Conference Championship.
People were trying to tear you down, saying you didn't deserve the Defensive Player of the Year award. What are your thoughts on Draymond Green on TNT? I don't know if you caught any of the Draymond Green commentary that transpired over the past couple of weeks.
Thomas, Draymond, we are playing him next round.
No, you're playing the Dallas Mavericks. Yeah.
Oh, Draymond, il n'est pas ici. He is not here. C'est bien. Draymond, bonjour. C'est moi, Rudy. Je suis au Western Conference Finale. Où es-tu? Where are you? What are you doing with your defense? I am still defending. You are not. C'est tout.
Yeah, congratulations. I didn't think I'd see the day that not only would Rudy Gobert be in an NBA Finals or a conference Finals, but you did it in a way that you took down the reigning MVP. So congratulations. Do you think that the NBA rigged the results for you? You've alleged, that the referees are on the take. Do you think that they rigged it for your result, or you overcame such biases.
They try to stop me with the ref, with the foul. They put Carl on the bench in the fourth quarter. Mais le Naz Reid, il est prêt. He is ready to play, to stop the Jokic. They cannot stop this. J'ai un petit peu peur. I am a little scared du Kyrie Irving. Parce que son troisième œil est extrêmement ouvert. His third eye is so open. I must battle him on the astral plane for the Basketball Illuminati. C'est très important. I must beat the Kyrie Irving.
I mean, you're 7 feet tall. I feel like your eye is more open just by virtue of being a giant, right?
He's bigger, but he's not more open. C'est difficile. It's hard to explain.
I'm going to be watching those two. I'm going to be watching you guys in the finals. If you do any sort of hand signals or hand gestures to each other as some sort of secret handshake or I don't know. Going to keep an eye, maybe a third eye open on that. Congratulations, Rudy.
Merci. Allons au fond de la patrie.
Trey, Draymond looked pretty bad here for repeatedly going at Rudy Gobert, and it's a vindication for the dude. He didn't guard Jokic every time, but they weren't having a parade to the basket. Like Jamal Murray settling for jumpers and Jokic settling for jumpers in a way they were designed to, right? There was a lot of just packing the paint, sagging down on Jokic and forcing him to shoot from the outside. And it's harder to like ascertain, good word there. It's hard to ascertain defensive value on the shots that weren't taken in the paint. But by having Rudy Gobert kind of roaming the paint and playing off the ball, cat on Jokic, there weren't a lot of plays at the basket, and he crushed them on the boards. So Rudy Gobert, while he didn't have 20 points, he hit some free throws, and he had that jumper that kind of put the dagger in the Nuggets.
Yeah, I mean, I don't expect high usage scoring and stuff like that, like the shot, right? That was like a no-yes scenario. I mean, and good for him. Like he had a couple questionable. It was like even one of those like little floater things that went in. It was like kind of strange. But yes, again, like you said, it's the gravity and the respect, dog. Like he's 7 feet plus, you know what I'm saying? Out there and shifting what it was. Like before Jokic made his first three, he was like 0 for 7. And that was because he could not bang and go back to the basket and toss something up. Usually he could get them. But not in this case, especially, and you got to give Rudy another nod because Cat was in foul trouble. It was one of those stupid closeouts too, where he got caught reaching. I don't know, one of those things. And, he maintained a way of being disciplined and keeping himself on the floor when his teammates needed him the most. But it's just very effective. I mean, casual basketball. Again, this is a player who, in some sort, is just not likable. I don't think he's just going to win that ball game. And don't let them win an NBA title and a gold medal. That's going to get tricky. I mean, that is definitely in a conversation. But at the end of the day, having a Rudy 2024 would be wild. But you got to give him credit, man. The casuals ain't got to do anything. But we're not going to pretend like he's not effective. And people that watch basketball understand how much he changes the flow of the game. You're not going to get so many drives to the basket. He has great timing. So he's not often fouling guys. He's not clubbing guys. Like the timing is there enough to like throw something off. You know what I mean? And I think that's enough, man, to, help. And, as long as the Wolves are with, McDaniels and, the athleticism of Edwards being able to like catch floating passes because of Rudy. Rudy allows all that to happen to help his guys be better defenders. And they're going to end up having like maybe 2 or 3 for, all defensive guys.
Yeah, well,
because it's contagious. It just kind of passes off, So shouts to them.
Yeah, 12 of 25, Denver, 12 of 25 at the rim, 12 baskets the entire game. That's 40%, 48%.
Mm-hmm.
The league average is like 67% at the rim. So Rudy Gobert, while he didn't have, 8 blocks, it's the shots you don't take that count. Those are the ones that matter. So it's not
he shut down Aaron Gordon. Aaron Gordon has been having a great series. Game 7, 2 for 5, 4 points. He got blocked at the rim by Rudy one time. He got blocked by Jaden on a weak side help. Like, I think the struggle, and I mean, it's been a punchline since the Rui Hachimura series last year, but the approach to guarding Rudy is to guarding Jokic is to put somebody on Jokic and then having your big man really be the help defender.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a play, I think, in the first quarter where Cat is yelling at Rudy, just like the Kyle Anderson play last week, where it's like Cat is expecting Rudy to be there at a certain time. So it's like if he's allowing Jokic to get past him after body bumping him and body bumping him and body bumping him, he needs Rudy to be there at exactly the right time. And so what Rudy did really incredibly well, especially in that third quarter and when the run started to happen, was he shut off Aaron Gordon, but he helped at the right time. And he battled enough to like keep the offensive boards from going away, because that was kind of a problem in the first half. And it's like, yeah, they put the clamps on the Nuggets, and Edwards bodied up Jamal Murray, shut him down. And it's like, Michael Porter Jr., where are you at, dude?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Where are you? Can you dribble?
The family bet under on him.
Yeah.
The family cleaned up.
The family bet the under on that one, bro. Man. You got your ring already. Let's get paid.
Yeah. I saw Nate Jones tweet out, what are the Nuggets going to do facing the second apron? And they got the Michael Porter Jr. contract, which is, about $38 million over the next 3 seasons. What do you do with that? I mean, the fact of the matter is, what I think the story, and we'll get into the Knicks Pacers here in a sec. The story of this postseason so far is depth. These top heavy teams can't hang. Injuries happen, fatigue happens, and TJ McConnell and Naz Reid are running circles around people, and it always helps to have 10 great players, obviously. But the way that rosters are constructed now, because of the big 3 in Miami and in Boston and, all the hoopla around the Phoenix Suns, you look at the teams that are still in it, and it's because they got depth. It's because they got PJ Washington and Daniel Gafford. They got 2 bigs, Daniel Gafford and Derek Lively Jr., who are or the third, who are starter caliber. And it's not just Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic. It's finding Derek Jones Jr. and PJ Washington and getting guys who can fill in on a random night. Whereas Michael Porter Jr., he's making max money at the time of his deal. And would it be better if he got traded for multiple pieces, which is what Nate was suggesting. Now, like, who would want Michael Porter Jr.? I was mapping this out, and started going down this path of Bruce Brown reunion with the Toronto Raptors, and I was like, wow, Bruce Brown, and like, I don't know, you throw in Jaden's brother, Jalen, and you get a little family reunion. Then I realized, family reunions are not always great.
Yeah, because, Toronto might not be keen to get another Porter in the mix.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Maybe not. Maybe if his name was Michael Paulson or something like that, that'd be different. What about the Miami Heat? Would the Miami Heat want to take on that contract and get another quote-unquote star in there for Duncan Robinson or Caleb Martin or something? I probably wouldn't bet on that. So the teams that need shooting, the Lakers, I think the Lakers would want to set their eyes on someone like Donovan Mitchell or Trae Young instead, rather than putting on Michael Porter Jr.'s contract. So yeah, he is a valuable player, but at that kind of money, at $38 million over the next 3 years, might not be the easiest thing to offload that contract. So the Nuggets are in a tough spot here. They scored just 37 points at home on Game 7 in the second half, which is outrageous. But the New York Knicks also struggled on Sunday in their Game 7 at Madison Square Garden. It's the first time, Trey Mays, that the road team won not just one Game 7, but 2 Game 7s on the road in the same day. First time in NBA history we've seen that happen. The New York Knicks came into it limping. OG Anunoby had the hamstring issue, tried to play it, and man, that was rough. I commend him for trying to give it a go, but he could barely move out there, and he had a couple shots. And then, of course, Jalen Brunson wasn't himself even before breaking his hand, and then he had to leave at the end of the game, fracturing a bone in his hand off of a defensive swipe. Like Chris Paul has had that a couple times where it's just bad timing. But after the game, Tom Thibodeau said, hey, we gave all we had to give, no shame in that. And Mays, I already feel you being like, well, this is the problem, right? This happens a lot with Tom Thibodeau teams is they give it their all, but they're dealing with so many injuries that it kind of feels like in my opinion, the ceiling on Tom Thibodeau teams is lower than your average NBA coach, but the floor is higher than your average NBA coach. Trey, do you agree with that? Like if you play for Tom Thibodeau, you know you guys are going to hit regular season overs. You're going to do better than people expect. You're going to defend harder. But in terms of longevity in the postseason, it just seems like Thibodeau's teams run into the ground, into dust.
Sure. But that doesn't make me not want to play for him. And
you play for Ed Maddock, though, Coach Maddock.
But that's a Thibodeau guy. You get what I'm saying? Like,
that's what I'm saying.
A guy that you just can't take a play off, so you gonna fall apart. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know how they got the little well-cooked fucking whatever, like chicken leg, and then shit falls off, like because it's so tender. Like that's what your body is like, bro. Because like you're giving it all. Like, of course, Josh Hart had a fucking abdominal injury, bro. He's playing crazy. Yeah. He's giving it up. Like, and I'm like, I do see some type of selfishness in it where it's like, is it worth it? You know what I mean? Because you could say, hey, I just play a basketball game and there's people going to work every day. But it's like, shit, if I can't walk, if I can't do all this other shit, like, you know, it's a little different. You know what I mean? And I liked the whole, you know, we could have been better for these people here. Like, bro, y'all had literally, like, if they would have beat this team, they going into Boston, they had nobody left.
Nobody.
You know, remember the first half when Michael Jordan was giving the speech in Space Jam and people were like in cast and like the birds were flirting. You look down at the bench and it's like, there's nobody that can come in. Granny's not about to come in and hoop. Tweety's not about to come in and hoop. Like, you're thin out there. You're not going to throw Courtney Sims. Like, I do not want to see a Courtney
not walking
Sims
through that door.
Series.
Tweety Bird is not flying through that door. Mm-hmm.
But I think it's unfair to just go in on Tibbs. You know what I'm saying? Like, guys want to do this. Because think about the guy, Tom, you've been in the games where you're having like a good game. Could you imagine somebody saying, Tom, you got to come down, it's minutes restriction. Or Tom, like, we got to get you up off the floor. You know what I mean? You hit 40 minutes. No, you want to be in the mix with your guys, bro. You're not thinking about none of that, especially when adrenaline kicked in. Nobody want to come out. If we blowing them out and I'm having fun, I want to stay in. I think it's just, you know, like it's just basketball, man. It's basketball injuries. It's not like fucking Tibbs is out there like, coach, take me out. And he's like, nah, you got to give me. I play for coaches like that too. I'm like, I'm tired. He's like, man, suck that shit up. You haven't finished. And I'm like, bro, dog, I can't fucking breathe. I told coaches that. And they be like, man, you be all right.
They told, OG was sat after like 4 minutes in the first quarter. And Tibbs pulled him. And after the game, he said, I pulled him because, you know, by the way he was moving, I just didn't want to risk it. Risk it meaning like an additional injury or aggravating the injury or having a much more serious injury, right? I think he was just like, yo, he can't move. I can't have him out there. He can't defend. Siakam's it's gonna be a wrap. And it ended up being a wrap anyway. But usually we see Thibodeau being like, I'm going to roll with this because these are the guys that got me here. But I wrote about this for ESPN, I think in 2015, 2016, about Isaiah Thomas, IT. And the idea is players don't want to leave the game. Players don't want to say, yeah, I can't play. My hip is hurting me so much. But when it comes to it's the playoffs, that's why OG Anunoby's playing in that game 7. That's why Kevin Durant came back in 2019, right? It's the playoffs.
Foxhole. It's foxhole.
It's that mentality of my guys are out there and I might be limping playing on one leg, but hell, if I'm going to watch this game 7 from the bench.
And I got respect for my guys. Because that's a different thing when you could have went. What are you saving it for? You can recover in the summer. You can recover in the summer,
that sort of
bro.
mentality is kind of what I think IT has talked about is the team, Boston didn't save him from himself. Is he wishes that he might not have played as much in that series because he was getting the green light from the medical staff. And I'm paraphrasing here, is that he kind of felt like he was screwed over, that he was being let to play on a bad hip or a bad body, that he could have exacerbated or shortened his career out of it. And he was never the same after that. So it's one case. That's not going to happen every time. But that's the worry if you're a player, is that you do something and push it to the limit, and then you're never the same after that year.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I ain't had a professional doctors, but I'm sure I pushed my body way. Think about the ankle rolls, right? How many ankle rolls we get in just common hoops? And you say, all right. And then it's somebody who's rolled their ankle before, but is not a doctor. Hey, man, just tighten your shoe up real tight, bro. Just tighten it up.
The LeBron. You're
going to be all right,
LeBron
bro.
Out there?
Bro, you're going to be all right, bro. Just tighten it up. Don't put no pressure on it. Give some air. I love hoop doctors that be hooping with you. Give you a diagnosis. Hey, bro, I did the same shit last week, bro. You're going to be all right.
Yeah. Just drink some water. You'll be straight. Yeah, go to that water fountain over there. That'll heal it real quick. Yeah. Russ icy hot on that. Right, Shaq? So the Knicks, I think Knicks fans are actually happy with the season. I think they would love to have won game 7, but there's a very legitimate explanation. I won't say an excuse, but a legitimate explanation why they didn't win this series. And it's because A, they didn't have the bodies, and B, holy shit, the Pacers were unbelievable in game 7. Yeah, unbelievable.
They shot the lights out.
Whatever
it was. I do think it was very whack that Tyrese started talking shit and wore the spike hoodie after game.
Trey, I got to ask, we've been kind of hinting at it. Is he first team All NBA that you hate? Tyrese Haliburton?
I think
is he American Rudy Gobert?
Well, settle down.
I think he was very darling early, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then things kind of trickled. We start to see the real him, right? And I think that's the thing, because it was kind of gambling didn't help. Because people weren't hitting their parlays. At first it was oh, this guy loves getting assists. So take the over on the 10 assists. Mm-hmm. Take the over on 11 assists. And then the assists start going down. And then All-Star happened. Remember, he got hurt. They sat him a little bit. He played an All-Star. He played really well. And it became this thing of if he has a bad game, it's because he's hurt.
Mm-hmm.
If he had a good game, he's taunting like crazy. But it's never they showed something where he was he did the too small. And then as soon as the player turned around, he started doing something with
he hit it. He transitioned
and I was just what kind of weird shit is that? Nobody will kick your ass.
At James Johnson on the bench. I think James said that. I didn't do anything. That was all James.
Yeah, and I think it's super strange because the same thing with the Dame thing. He picks and chooses his spots where he knows that he just, and I think that gets under people's skin. But he's still a very good basketball player. And you point out certain things, but he's become he's playing it up. I don't know if he's trying to do it on purpose now because his outfits have been very interesting. The nice way to say.
Thought
and then say
provoking.
but then he'll have like I don't think he has like consistent amazing games to have the big persona that he has. You get what I'm saying? Like
what he did yesterday was wild, dude. Like he hit some gigantic shots.
No,
he went at Spike Lee he went at Spike Lee every time. Like it wasn't. He wore the shirt afterwards. So you'd rather him wear that shirt before the game rather than after.
I'd rather him be talking shit while he down too.
Mm-hmm.
That's the Anthony Edwards effect.
Yeah.
Because that's the night and day.
So it's the inconsistency.
It's the inconsistency of like
both in play.
You got a punchable face, bro. You got a punchable face, bro, at this point. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Consistently
but no, I'm just
punchable.
Saying, he's consistently punchable because he does the weird shit.
Mm-hmm.
We know that you're an all-star. We know that we respect you because you're a good player. And we championed you early in season tournament. And we were like, fuck it, Haliburton bandwagon. We're on. He's forget Ja, forget these people. We got us a new guy. He's running at Dame. You know what I mean? And then it gets to that point of like, oh, you guys are working him too hard. He shouldn't have to play 65 games to meet this thing. And then he got it to, like, there's the thing. He showed some toughness. He played through the injury. He's found his way to deliver in certain things, but then he does the weasel shit of like,
right. I don't think you can hold it against him. He is walking the walk. Like the same thing that Anthony Edwards. He is going to the Eastern Conference Finals after averaging 21 points and 7 assists and shooting lights out against the New York Knicks in an environment that most people would not have been charitable to. Like, yo, are you going to go into Madison Square Garden, Game 7, and light him up? Hell no. And then he did.
No.
Okay.
He
has validated himself in a way that like, he could have sat out the second half of the season. He could have not played and been like, yo, 65 game rule or not, like I got to do what's best for my future, whatever. He played through it. Not great. Not to the same standard he was in the first half of the season, but it's the talking, it's the antics that you find unappealing. And I get that.
But that's across NBA too, Tom. You think about it like this, right? I put anyone but the Celtics. I personally have nothing against the Celtics. Like, I could watch the Celtics win, but when I think about the fans going off for a week or two, it burns my soul. It's certain franchises that, like, again, Warriors, anybody that's ever been quote unquote good throughout this series, like throughout shit, the Lakers, when they had their like run, you know what I'm saying? It's the fans' arrogance that that just rubs off and gives you that like, ugh. You know what I'm saying?
That's what makes it fun, dude. That's what I mean.
It makes it fun competitively, but I'm just saying like it adds a fuel. Like you really just despise the team. And I'm like, because I live in New York, I don't hate the Knicks, but I'm like, yo, I just don't want y'all to be delusional. And it's like, yo, we'll take on fucking anybody. Bring them on. And I'm like, yo, you know what I mean? But that's the beauty of this sport. You got to love it. You can't just tell somebody, like that's what I said. I've gotten to that sweet spot, I guess, being media for a little bit, where I started to sympathize for players and I had to stop. There's no sympathy in fandom. When you fucking lose, you boo them off the court. You tell them go to Cancun. You give them shit for bad games. You call them frauds. You go through all that because that's fandom. You work up fucking hate and it's respect. Because you're not talking about the guy that didn't get off the bench. You're not talking about the guy that didn't give you a headache and send you home 3 times in the playoffs. That is the beauty of that shit. And it goes back to that wonderful Wide and Kennedy Nike spot where Kobe gets the send off. And he's standing there and it's like, I fucking hate you. And da-da-da-da. And you know what I mean? And it's like, that's a beautiful swan song, bruh. That means you earned it. People hate Paul Pierce for a fucking reason. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Well, I'm just saying, like, he sent a lot of fucking teams home too in his career.
Yeah.
Just kidding. Yeah.
Where he was just unlikable. And people are like, fuck that guy. He's stumping out. Listen, he played it up. He wore the Brunson jersey as a bet, like a loss. And then he's stumping on it. He's playing the character like a wrestler. He gets it.
That's what
because he bleeds green. And that's what makes it great. So again, Tyrese Haliburton, I don't fucking hate you. Keep doing your thing. Keep thriving. Shouts to Indy. Keep, embrace it. Be fucking a villain.
See, okay, so I saw a thing on Twitter of some Knicks fans
he wasn't a villain,
this
right?
is our new villain, Tyrese. And then Jerry Ferrara, our guy Jerry, in the comments was like, I don't know. I think TJ McConnell's more of a villain than Tyrese Haliburton.
Man, I can't get on board with that.
Shouts to TJ,
Shouts
though.
to TJ, man. The TJ Pritchard Eastern Conference Finals.
Oh, my
I can't
God.
wait for this shit.
The grit chip.
Get up.
The grit chip is going to be amazing. Do it for the white guards.
Pascal Siakam and Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum isn't doing for you, Maze. I kind of love those little like promos that they have on the side of the screen where they have like on Tuesday, game 1, Celtics versus Pacers. And then they put like a face of one player from each team. And I noticed that they had Jason Tatum for the Celtics and Pascal Siakam for the Pacers. And I was like, what? Whoa, Siakam, getting the call. Felt like that was Tyrese Haliburton's spot.
It's a big deal when that happens. The face. It means you're literally the face of the team. It's very important. And you know who's deciding this? Some producer in the truck going through the headshots. And not everybody has a Jimmy Butler emo
not happy
look.
About that.
Yeah, well, Haliburton, prove him wrong. Get your face on game 2. Get in the mix.
So I'm looking at ESPN, the predictions for that Pacers-Knicks series, and it was Knicks 16, Pacers 0. So literally not one staffer picked the Pacers in that series. I feel like I'm a hypocrite here because I actually picked the Knicks, but I feel like when it comes to Tibbs teams, we're only like evaluating or predicting series based on like fully healthy. We should bake in the fact that like they're probably not going to be standing at the end of this series. So
that's tough. I don't know. I mean, I honestly think that Nembhard shot doesn't go in. The Knicks win this in 5. So I think it's that close. I did think it was funny at halftime. It's Wilbon and Bob Myers, and they're both essentially saying, well, the Knicks are going to make a run. So, they're not going to shoot 70% for the game. So, it's on the Knicks. And Malika's like, can we talk about how the Pacers are good? Did they shot the lights out? And Wilbon's like, nah, don't worry about that. And then, the Knicks made a run, and then the Pacers made a run back and put it away.
To be fair, the NBA is better when the Knicks succeed, man.
Of course.
It's just something. Sure. It's something about it. But again, I like that they went and got James Johnson for protection. I like that they got Siakam for a second option. They made all the right moves, and their young guys are stepping up. And the world, if you didn't know who fucking TJ McConnell is, you do now.
Yeah.
Right? So now they have the chance to do the funniest thing ever with the Celtics.
Yes. The pressure's on the Celtics.
We gotta give them we gotta give them a chance. After game 1, I need that filler game, because if they steal game 1, it's gonna get the conversation gonna shift, and I think the Pacers' love is going to return like it did at the beginning of the season.
Yeah, I'm more curious to see if the Celtics will blow it in game 2 again, because that's two series in a row.
The game 2 dud.
It's nothing like the world uniting to boo the Celtics, bro.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why, but the world loves to unite and hate the Celtics. I don't get it. I'm not even a part of the Lakers Celtics thing. I'm not a part of none of that shit. I just don't understand it. And it's always been that way. But then since I live on the East Coast, I just run into Boston fans and they're just so arrogant. Red Sox, all that shit. And Tom, I know you're a Red Sox guy.
Yeah, we have to understand.
I hate it.
We were the Timberwolves. We were the Timberwolves for 100 years.
I really love you. So I can't have that you don't really get that true emotion out of me as a Red Sox fan. But Astro fans and Red Sox fans,
yeah. Well, Celtics fans have kind of been have this pent up defensive attitude about their run so far. They're waiting for people to doubt them and then say, no one believed us. It was us against the world, which is true. Like anybody but the Celtics, anyone but the Celtics. Everyone's Pacers fans in this series, I feel like. Is that as crazy as it sounds, the number one team in the regular season is going to say no one believed in us. They're going to claim that this was us against the world. And you know what? Kind of feels that way right now. Is that I feel like a nation is backing the Indiana Pacers in this series. I don't think it's about any sort of disdain for Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. I think it's it's kind of antipathy to the Boston Celtics. I think it's just people are bored.
They just happen to play there. They just happen to play there.
Yeah, you're right. Like it's just no one like has a problem with Jason Tatum.
No, people like Jason Tatum. When he's in civilian clothes.
I'm not a big Tatum guy.
Tatum might get pulled over. Tatum might get pulled over in LA, bro.
It's not like he's a villain.
Get pulled over in LA.
I feel like he's pretty easy to dislike at this point. I feel like
Tatum?
Yeah, I think so.
For what?
Because we've been talking about how young and successful he is for so long. He's never won the title. Like I have more affinity towards Jaylen Brown on that team. Like he should be an MVP candidate, but he's not really. It's like the highlight moments for Tatum himself, not the Celtics as a team, are kind of dwindling. Like, he went toe to toe with KD in that Nets series a few years back. That was a big moment for him, but he's never stepped up and grabbed it and said, "This is my time. I'm here." Like he has none of the Anthony Edwards charisma.
Yeah, I'm with you. Everything you just said,
I'm
totally on board with. But like, he's not like a heel.
No,
he's not like someone you love to hate. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. I'm saying it's a matter of antipathy. Like people it's boring. Like the Celtics dominance is kind of boring. They hit a bunch of threes. They've been there before, and it's like we've seen this movie before. It's not anything with regard to like the personality of the team, or like I think Marcus Smart had an edge to him that like Drew Holiday doesn't, and so I just feel like people are waiting for the Boston Celtics to show their true self or stumble or something like that. And Celtics fans are like, they've got it all pent up right now. And look, man, depth, it's going to be the name of the game here again, is the Celtics depth behind Kristaps Porzingis and Al Horford. Can they stay on the floor? Can Al Horford pressure them in ways that, the Knicks, Hartenstein, killed him on the boards for a bunch of this series, but I don't think the Celtics profile like that. Let's talk a little Dallas and OKC here, because it feels like the same sort of schadenfreude that there is for the Knicks losing. I don't know if the nation really cares all that much about the OKC team as much, but they're sent home fishing. They're gone fishing now. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander makes a fateful play at the end of the game to foul PJ Washington. Clear foul. Explanation was because the ball wasn't dislodged from PJ Washington's shot, therefore any contact with the hand or with the arm is now deemed not marginal contact. If the ball was dislodged, it would have been fine. So PJ Washington goes to the line and wins the game. So the Thunder, top seed, goes home.
I really love this series. I thought it was a great series. I thought it was really competitive, and I think the Thunder, they just ran out of steam a couple times in crucial situations, and Luka clearly was the best player. Like Shai was incredible, but a banged up Luka controlled the games for the most part, with rebounding if you need it, with playmaking if you need it, with, I mean, he's one of the more conflicted, like he talks so much to the refs and he complains so much to the refs, but then he'll also shrug off Lou Dort and make some crazy basket and finish through contact, and you're like, damn, okay. And a lot of people don't like when you talk to the refs. I think it's part of the game. So you have to acknowledge that he does it and it might work for him. But I thought it was a great series. I think OKC, you know, they got a lot of depth, but they need maybe like one more key piece that they just didn't quite have. And I think they will be back, though.
Yeah. They're in a good spot.
Yeah, I mean, I was upset for Sarah, friend of the show.
Mm-hmm.
I know she's a diehard Thunder fan.
I texted her. I was like, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, and I definitely wanted them to win. I picked them. But I'm also not mad at the Mavs. I'm not mad at the Mavs. I've seen Luka live. You know what I mean? Like, I know on TV it looks like he's whining, bro, but bro is amazing.
Yeah.
Like I said, I want to see Kyrie wake up. You know, he's been kind of trying to find it. He's been a little bit more aggressive. You know what I'm saying? So I like that part. But I know for sure the Mavs aren't going to win a series if Kyrie only going to average 15. He got to show up. He got to help. He got to help Luka out. He got to get to like 18, 20 at least to make this like a thing. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, Derek Lively's been playing well. PJ's confidence is there. And like both of these teams kind of have not similar makeups, but they have star power and really good supporting cast.
It's going to be an awesome series, dude.
It's going to be
I hope
so
it
much
goes
fun. 7 just for that. Because I'm really dialed in on that. And then the Eastern, like I said, I don't know what to predict on that one, but I do hope that the Pacers could like rock this shit a little bit just to make it interesting. Because like when Jason Tatum and them is playing with pressure, he performs better, but then it's also like they needed some tests.
Let's pause here and for the Patreon, just talk a little bit about these conference finals here. So we got Dallas, Minnesota, Boston, Indiana. For the Patreon, I don't think I've fully done my homework here on the Pacers Celtics series, Trey. Mm-hmm. I think most fans probably expect it to be an NBA TV series. Mm-hmm. The ESPN broadcast has that series, and then the TNT has the Dallas Minnesota series, which I'm kind of very happy about.
An NBA TV conference finals, huh, Tom?
Yeah. I'm telling you, man, the
Can
average
they sell
fan
that to Amazon right now.
Right now.
Bezos.
Get Netflix on the phone.
Come on down.
Yeah. I'm going to go Celtics in 6 in that one. Porzingis is expected to be out for the first 2 games of that series. I just
maybe they need the series to go longer so that Porzingis can get back into shape.
There you go. The kind of get some extra cardio. Mm-hmm. Game 7. Lose game 6 on purpose so that he can get one more cardio session in. That's a good idea. Nothing ever goes wrong when you do that, I'm sure.
Never.
And what do you got on the West?
Pacers have never won a game 7 on the road. They've never done it.
Nope.
Just don't fact check.
What do you got in the West?
I got Minnesota in that one. I'm leaning Minnesota in 7. I just think they have the defenders. They have the moxie. Mike Conley, the way that Edwards and the rest of the team talk about Mike Conley. Jokic after the game, you heard about what he said about Mike Conley? It was like he's the most underrated player in the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
That's high praise for a guy that doesn't do a lot of like high flashy type stuff on the floor. The fact that Jokic is like that dude right there, like he's a huge catalyst to everything they do.
He shouted out that he had, he was leading the team in rebounds
at one point. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, so
I don't know. I feel like Minnesota is going to make it to the NBA Finals. This might be just recency bias after what they did to the Nuggets, holding them to 90 points. The Nuggets offense had 2 players scoring over 6 points in that game. It's insane.
I see Mavs fans saying, "Why not us?"
I'm giving the Mavs a couple wins here.
I think Luka's health is going to dictate the series. Because in the Thunder series, you could tell there were some nights he just didn't have it, and he wasn't getting the looks and the shots. Like he didn't have it under his 3-pointer for some of those games, and it's his knee. And they threw up all of his dings and dents on the body, and Charlotte Wilder had that great tweet that's like going for a run in your 30s, Achilles soreness, knee soreness, et cetera, et cetera.
Brush check engine light is on for sure.
And it's every other night, there's not going to be 2 nights off. There's not going to be a Denver, Minnesota randomly 3-4 nights off in the middle of this series. It's going to be every other day. So if Luka can stay healthy, I think they have a pretty damn good shot because the ball handling shouldn't be an issue, right? Like the Timberwolves pressured the shit out of the Nuggets ball handlers, but now they have to do it against Luka and Kyrie, 2 of the best ball handlers in the league.
That's where Rudy Gobert comes in, because if he could lock down Aaron Gordon and those lobs to Aaron Gordon, it's a great test for this upcoming series with Lively, Gafford, and PJ Washington. Just the ability to lock down those cuts and thwart those lobs is going to be huge for the Timberwolves. And they just got maybe the toughest assignment in the NBA in preventing those lobs and cat guarding Jokic on that lob, the quick lob to Aaron Gordon, and basically neutralize that shit. So it's going to be tough.
I'm curious to see if the Mavs are pretty much going to play small. So it's going to be interesting to see how the Cat Rudy lineup does against PJ Washington, Derek Jones Jr. out in the corners. Like, are they going to, because the Nuggets, I think the 2 big lineup was designed to play the Nuggets. Like, that's what Tim Connolly cooked up. And it worked eventually. So it's like now you got to go back to playing a more traditional spread team. And it's going to be like that against the Celtics too, if they get to that point. So it'll be curious to see how the Rudy Cat thing goes from this point on.
Yeah.
I got Celtics in 5. I feel like I've been really pooping on the Mavs.
Don't let that cloud your judgment.
Deep in thought.
I know that.
I'd love to see Maxi Kleber back on the court too.
I feel for Mavs fans.
Sorry,
I feel for Mavs fans for life because they've been getting disrespected all playoffs, bro. And they keep delivering. But I want to see Ant-Man play against Jason Tatum.
It's not about want. That's your heart talking. Use your head. Use that big brain of yours.
What does Adam want? What does your fellow coming home brother Adam want?
The big brain says the Wolves in 7.
Wolves in 7. Yeah.
All right. I'll go contrarian. I'll go Mavs in 7.
Oh, I thought you were going Pacers in 7. Oh, okay.
No,
okay,
that's
contrarian.
No, I can't do that. No.
Do you think anyone is going to pick anyone in our group, whether it's ESPN or The Ringer, Yahoo? Do you think anyone's going to pick the Pacers over the Celtics?
No.
I say no.
No, because it's too. It's like, again, people like Anthony Edwards right now. People like Jace, like the Celtics, because the Celtics have just been showing it. They've been showing it. They showed some type of dominance all season, right? And you always want to take the easy pick. I don't think that the Dallas joint is going to be an easy pick, but I just want to see. I like how we've been looking at Jason Tatum. Is how I'm looking at Anthony Edwards. This is your title to lose, young man.
Wow.
Do it for the Edwards. Do it for the Edwards.
Yep.
Do it
for the Anthony's as well.
Yeah. Do it for the Haber.
And also, it's not
who you got?
It's also not guaranteed. I'll see you next year.
Gone, so.
I think the Hawks learned that.
You're saying that for the Wolves?
I'm saying that for any team.
Anybody?
Yeah,
I mean, Celtics, you don't probably.
Yeah, but they're not getting to the finals every year. You know what I'm saying?
Probably get to the Eastern Conference Finals. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's like getting fucking a bronze medal. Like
it's so crazy. It's like LeBron did it 8 years in a row, and now the Celtics have done it basically 5 years in a row. It's the way it goes. But yeah,
you know what?
mean, I'm with you. I would love to see Ant on the stage. I would also love to see Luka on the stage. I think what we got right now is like Luka versus Ant for who is
It's gonna be
who is
so
going to
good, man.
step up and be that next dude. And I think they're both awesome, and I want to see it. And I hope they guard each other. I'm curious to see.
Well, Ant called out Kyrie. He said that's his matchup. So
yeah, I mean, McDaniels is going to guard Luka a lot, and that'll be very interesting, right? Because I think Dort is about as good of a defender as you could throw on Luka, and he was up to the task. So
I'll make one prediction in this series between the Mavs and the Timberwolves. Okay, here's my prediction: the baptism that Rudy Gobert is going to get from either Derek Lively or Daniel Gafford in this series. There's going to be one lob. There's going to be one
Derek Jones Jr.
dunk. Derek Jones. Someone is going to sun Rudy Gobert so hard in this game, in this series. It's going to blow people's minds. And you know what? Rudy Gobert is going to be like, cool. Wee. Money sign.
Yeah.
Going the other way. And I'm going to hit a turnaround jumper.
Well, that's his job to get dunked on. Like, you literally...
I can't wait for it, man.
You live with those choices when you block shots. If you're a shot blocker, you're going to get dunked on sometimes.
Wemby said it. He's like, every great defender, every great rim protector has been dunked on. Look at Dikembe Mutombo and MJ. MJ came for him and he got him.
Look at me.
Right?
I got dunked on body to body, man, at Diablo Valley College. Don't forget it, man. I had some good help side blocks. That's why I thought I was a good shot blocker.
Yeah.
And somebody put me in the rim. And it was not great.
Richfield High School, FCAC, playoffs. Dave McClure played at Duke. Just eviscerated me. I was the bottom of a 1-3-1. I had no business being in the bottom of a 1-3-1 tray.
You're a speedy guy, man.
I'm 6 feet on a good day when I wasn't bald. Okay. No reason I should be guarding 6'8" guys. Okay. Who are going to big time D1. And with that is our episode this week. Trey, Mays, I'm excited for these conference finals. It has finally arrived. Very excited for it. Oh, and thank you to Rudy.
Oui. Allons au fond de la patrie.